Lord, what does overcoming abandonment look like for me? I've been working hard to grow, heal, mentor, and educate your children along this process, but this topic has thrown me for a loop. This journey has rebroken me in some places, but removed all hidden pain and traumas discussed in the first 6 episodes. I thank you for believing that I could be so bold to stand before the world and bare my naked and broken soul. I still can't believe the outpour of love and support I've received, the breakthroughs I've seen with my own eyes, the shattering of strongholds and generational curses are far beyond what my mortal eyes could have ever envisioned. You've called me out of the shadows into your spotlight of healing and visibility to speak of your faithfulness and to provide my testimony. Jesus, there are no words to describe how humble and grateful I am for you. This type of love can't be explained, just shown through my actions, lifestyles, and how I treat others. I'm not saying all of this because of what you've done, are doing, or getting ready to do in the future, but because of who you are and who you will always be. Let's explore the topic of overcoming abandonment. I believe that there are many faces of abandonment. I'm currently working through a greater detail with them in a mini-series coming soon. Today, let's discuss a few of them. First, being abandoned by family. Second, being abandoned by friends. Thirdly, being abandoned by a loved one as a result of natural death, murder, or suicide. Fourth, being abandoned by your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, or wife. Fifth, the last phase of abandonment we will be discussing today is the abandonment of self. These are all valid and hurtful in their own ways, sent by hell to break you down to your lowest common denominator. We aren't to belittle anyone's abandonment because each of us has a capacity level of stress and a certain amount of heartbreak that we can take. What may be small to you can cause someone else to contemplate taking their life. We must learn how to hear and see others even when they are not in their presence or speaking. My accountability team around me hears my silent cries, battles, and vice versa. I get calls telling me to stop overthinking, let's talk, and pray. I can't stress enough how important it is to build the correct inner circle around you. I don't care if you have to walk away from childhood friends, BFFs, etc. You need people who walk through the fires of life with you. I found having to question if the people closest to me were really for me was worse than heartbreak. I vowed that I would never go through that again on any level, so I gave it all over to God and began exercising my discernment. I paid the price for every word that I speak to you and have gone through the fire. I don't want any of you to make the same mistakes or continue the repetitive cycles any longer. This is why, in my painful state, I speak to you about better ways to heal and cope. Now back to the subject at hand. Raise your hand if you ever felt abandoned by family. I have too. What did you learn from that? How has it shaped your adult life? If you have kids, are you passing down the pain and fears down to them too? If you don't, is it a result of the abandonment you've experienced? I can go on and on about the family abandonment that I faced, but it only will fuel your excuses of why you shouldn't heal. Don't get me wrong, it shaped my life for many years, and the pain is real, but you know what I just realized? My most beloved traits are also the result of who walked out on me or didn't show up. My determination, drive, the way I love, my wisdom, and the list goes on. God has a funny way of making everything turn out for your good. Paul says in Psalms 119:71, "It is good for me that I have been afflicted, that I might learn thy statutes." If you want to heal, you must first forgive and move forward. We hold on to things that happened over 20 years ago. Let's normalize talking about the issues within the family. We are all broken individuals that make up the family unit. Perfect is overrated and unattainable. Make it up in your mind that you will forgive today and make plans to talk to that person or persons in your family about what happened. Listen with a clear head and open mind, not from a place of fear or anger. The second phase of abandonment we will be discussing today is being abandoned by friends. If you can't say amen, say ouch. This one is tough. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Most of us choose our friends to replace the void of family. So what happened when the people you've chosen abandon you too? Can I be real with you? Depending on what season and mindset you were in while selecting those friends will often reflect on the quality of the friendships. In other words, you select what you feel. Familiar spirits are real and they attach to common brokenness inside of you. This is why in sin, your friends feel like the family you never had. But when you're trying to grow and wanting to break your old habits, they don't understand and the relationship begins to fade. They begin to feel like weights that are too heavy for you to carry. P.S. Everyone you started with isn't going to make it to your next levels. Most people like their brokenness because wholeness requires them to stop their pity party. Make sure you're choosing the friends for your future and not for your past or present self. Number 3 is being abandoned by a loved one as a result of natural death, murder, or suicide. Trust you me, all 3 are powerful blows that don't go away. Grieving is circumstantial and takes time. Each type of death affects you in different ways. We are in a worldwide pandemic and so many people have lost their lives. I wish this wasn't so. But in the midst of all of that, we still have murders taking place and suicide rates are through the roof. I've experienced 2 out of the 3 last year alone. I'm still healing and processing. I know the burdens and devastation that you feel all too well. Others have lost and had to bury their children as a result of murder or suicide. This pain is a pain that you can't understand unless you experienced it. I won't begin to say that I know what that feels like. I pray for every parent who has gone through or is currently going through this. What do you say to someone who's going through this? What happens when the casket closes, the cause and help slowly fades away, as if your grief disappeared upon closing the casket? Abandonment is tricky when it comes to this type of grief, because oftentimes we don't know what we need in those moments of tragedy. The enemy often plays with our minds, making us feel isolated and alone. Knowing that grieving is needed, but making your bed there permanently isn't something I wish on anyone. Number 4 is being abandoned by a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, or wife. We all know heartache, accompanied with abandonment, is one of the hardest things to recover from. I'm still healing from this myself. Breaking your heart is one thing, but being abandoned, especially in the time of need, is another. It's almost as if the heartache can't hold a candle to the abrupt exit. It's the friendship built within the relationship that you feel that you grieve the most. How could they have left me like this? I won't dwell on this too much because I'm still processing and I have learned not to speak from broken places. So I fall before Jesus daily, asking for the template on how to heal and truly forgive. This might be the most transparent I've been thus far in the series, but I couldn't live my life in the empty doorway of abandonment any longer. I've never been married, so I only can speak a little bit on that one from experience of what friends and family have told me. They've said that divorce feels like ripping a part of your skin out because marriage unites you as one. Divorce is separating without surgery. So whether it's a relationship, marriage, or whatever type of feeling that you're recovering from, please lift your head up, find your worth again. But this time, don't forget it or ever give it to anyone. They don't own the rights to your worth. Not even God requires that. You are far too great for that. Together we can find our smile again, locate our peace and the God-given person for us. But first we must heal from the pain that abandonment brings, then forgive. The last phase of abandonment we will be discussing today is the abandonment of self. Question: After the 4 faces of abandonment listed today, how many of you can honestly say you've abandoned yourself as a result of the variety pack of abandonment that you faced throughout your lifetime? I'll wait. You don't believe in yourself or your abilities. You've forgotten what it's like to dream, to hope, or even breathe. Living every moment in the shackles of what was, and often reverting back to that little kid who was waiting on someone to come pick them up, but they never showed. Do me a favor. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Allow God to center you right now. Keep your eyes closed. Think back to every piece of abandonment, pain, and fear. Every letdown, broken heart, the feeling of being misunderstood, all the bad mistakes you made because of the lack of people who said that they would be there but disappeared as soon as you needed them most. Now that you've gathered all of those things, yes, they have gotten you this far, but today is the day you release them. God is waiting here with his hands open wide to take all of it, even the traumas that you don't even remember. Let's count to 3, and on 3, we're going to release them. Make it up in your mind today that this is the last moment it gets to define you. Ready? 1. Push past the voice of the enemy. 2. Keep yourself free. Good job. Keep going. You're almost there. 3. Release it. Cry, yell, scream, do whatever you have to do, but be free. I won't lie and say it's going to erase overnight, but keep in this mindset, and with God, he will lead you through your own process of your wholeness experience. Who knows, you might be the next one to create your truth series. I know that this episode was long, but God said it needed to be. Please inbox me, call me, text me, or comment below and tell me what this episode made you feel. I want to hear your breakthrough stories. Share this video with at least 3 people who you know need healing too. Remember, family, we are stronger together. I love you. Until next time, God bless.